content presented in this podcast is based on real events and may contain graphic descriptions of violence, sensitive topics, and explicit language that may be triggering, offensive, or sensitive subjects to some viewers and listeners. Discretion is advised. The purpose of this podcast is to explore and discuss true crime cases for entertainment and educational purposes only. This podcast does not intend to glorify or sensationalize crime, but rather aims to analyze and understand the complexities of human behavior in the criminal justice system. We encourage listeners to approach this content with empathy, critical thinking, respect for the victims and their families. Tonight, we're diving into the chilling reality of stalking attack and the fight or flight moments that every woman dreads. But we're not here to dwell on the fear. We're here to empower you. Joining us is Rachel Mahloch, an expert in self-defense and women's safety, to talk about how to turn the tables on danger from strategies to mindsets. This conversation will save your life. So lock your doors and turn up the volume, and let's step into the shadows together. It's time to start the show. Let's hit it. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Mysteries, Mayhem, and Merlot. I am your host, Winnie Schrader, and tonight I want to touch on an important topic, and that is self-protection. Trying to make sure that when you go out in public, you have an awareness of your surroundings and you know how to protect yourself in case danger, lurks around the corner for you. So I wanted to find somebody who is an expert, and I actually found a little spitfire, Rachel Mahloch, who just stands 5 feet tall. She's a short girl like me, but she is an expert on personal safety and helps women ward off physical attacks with innovative self-protection methods and training. And her mission is to keep women safe. So welcome to the show, Rachel.
Hi, Winnie. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I feel it's very important for women to know that they're always timid. They're always like, oh, I'm so tired. I can't fight a man. Yeah, you can. I've done it. It can happen, but you need to take the steps to learn how to do it properly. And it also gives you that kind of courage to know that you can take care of yourself when you're walking down a street. So,
100%.
kind of like, do you do like classes, or what's kind of your process on helping women and getting in touch with you and learning these techniques?
Right. So I do in-person classes, in-person private training, corporate training, Zoom training, you name it. It's best to do in person, some of the stuff. But a lot of it you don't really need to do in person with me, because it all starts with awareness and intuition. And, a lot of people say that, be aware of your surroundings. Yeah, well, that's a lot easier said than done. How do you practice that? And, we, in classes, however I teach them in person or online, or I do have a mobile app that you can download and get some of this stuff on. But just being in tune with your environment and trusting your gut. And there's no shame or throwing any shade on anybody, because we can all get in our own world. And even myself, I'll walk around and, I will tune back in and go, oh my God, how long was I out? Just
exactly.
Right. And so, when you have your cell phone or music, you can just kind of go inside when we're overstimulated. And those are the moments of vulnerability that a perpetrator of violence will exploit. And it's critical for women to, and everybody, it's not just women, it's really everyone. Statistics point, I specialize in women. So, and I care most taking care of my sisters. So be mindful and in your environment. If you're going to take a sense away, heighten the other ones, and make sure to check in with your environment. Look around, look behind you, look at what's going on. And if your gut says that something's wrong, and you should listen to it and make a different choice. It's not that you did anything wrong leading up to that, but you need to quickly assess the situation and make a very measured decision in that moment to either turn around, go the other way, talk to somebody, get help, go into a store, whatever that may be, pick up a natural weapon like a rock or a stick or whatever, your cell phone, you've got it in your hand, and be mindful of what's happening around you, because with people specifically, there will be a pre-indicator of violence. So if you can observe body language and mannerisms, right? You're like, oh, I don't like the way that person looks. Create distance. Create a lot of distance. Make yourself big. Look confident. Put everything away. Be hands-free. Be ready to rock and roll. Right? And that points to being a hard target. Those are the first things we need to bring back into our life and into our daily routine, and make a lifestyle change and be a hard target. Most of these crimes are crimes of opportunity. Most of them.
Right.
If you look like you're not going to be an easy target, in that bitchy resting face, I say sometimes, can save your life. Right? You could be a very nice person, but you're in tune and you see people don't want to be seen. They want you vulnerable, which are why, attacks from behind are quite threatening and very difficult to manage. Not impossible, but really, really difficult.
Yeah, and that's exactly like what I do. Like when I'm walking downtown Minneapolis, Minneapolis, the crime rate has just become obscene of people getting mugged and attacked downtown. But whenever I find I have a gut feeling about somebody, I will literally stare them down as I'm walking, so they know that I'm aware of them. So they're not going to mess with me.
Right.
I'm letting them know that I see them, and I have a gut. So a gut feeling about it. So, and that's kind of like my like, hey, don't mess with me. And it seems to work, and I even give the same look to my children when they're being, well, they're like, oh, mom's mad, better stop.
You have eyes in the back of your head.
Right.
Well, that's really important thing to note, because eye contact is intimidating for a lot of people, especially when women use eye contact, right? It's direct. You can see everything that's about to happen. And again, we don't want to be vulnerable. I have a lot of clients that have described incidents to me, and their tendency was to pretend it's not, if I don't look at it, and I observe a lot of things that happen in the world too. If you don't look at it, it's not there. And I was like, wow, my toddler did that. That's not how it works. It's still there, right? We are capable of rational thought. And with all the information in front of us, we can, if we choose to, trust our gut and make the right decision, instead of going, oh, no, it'll be fine. Or if I don't look at it, it can't hurt me if I don't look at it. Right. And so that's part of taking your power back. Look at it. Say, hey, they can't bum rush you if you're looking at them. If they do, you can move your feet. You can get out of the way. I'm highly confident that most of my students, if in the stranger danger situation, if they saw it coming, they wouldn't just, oh, I can't, they would do something, right? It's when you're taken off guard. That's the worst time.
Now, is there like kind of a location or a place that has a very high rate of assaults and things like that, especially for women? Like you always hear about parking garages, and those are kind of a prime spot for attacks. Is that still kind of the trend, I guess you would say, with these attacks?
That's a really great question. And it used to be that like a grocery store parking lot was the most common place. And so that speaks to also a parking garage. I don't have recent stats on that kind of stuff, but yeah, I would say those are number one, high rates of incidences. Number two, also a place of fear for people going alone. So those things, you know, are very real. And in a parking lot, you know, you can imagine you've got groceries in two hands, you're trying to fiddle with your keys, you are distracted. The keyword is distracted. That's when, if you win the anti-lottery by being at the wrong place at the wrong time, and there's somebody who means to do someone harm, and being distracted, having not hands-free, so you're not able to quickly defend yourself with hands, right? And also we don't train our brains to drop what we've purchased. We like to hold on to what we have. And that's rule number one. If somebody says, give me your stuff, just give it to them. Just give it to them. Because that's all they want. If they want you, that's when you have to fight, right? So parking garages and parking lots are spicy because you don't want to get pushed into your car. Number one, that's a really hard one, because it's not impossible, but it's really scary, and you need to react really quickly. I actually do a seminar where we work on getting pushed in, or, you know, in and around your car, shoved up against your car, or getting pushed into while you have the door open. So it could just be something as simple as a carjacking, but you're collateral damage, and you're in there and you don't want to be there. It's an enclosed space, and that's really, really dangerous. So I would say those are two really high button on the list. I live in Colorado, so hiking trails are another, you know, right up there. There's so many places to hide, like a parking garage. There are lots of things distracting you, you know, and I tell people, a predator is a predator. We train, if we see a mountain lion or a bear, we know what to do. It's the same thing. You know, it's the same kind of training. Your gut, you know, and then get big, get loud, get angry, get physical, you know, if you have to.
Right. I know.
Get after it.
I know a guy, he would literally, when he would get in a fight, and he didn't like to fight, but like, he's like one of the guys that would say, I don't start him, but I finish him. He would literally act so crazy, punching himself, screaming, to the point where the guy's like, this guy's psychotic. I'm not.
That's a great strategy. Actually, I have a friend who, the same thing. She was approached in an alley on vacation. You know, that's another one. Going on vacation is difficult. You travel alone, which I do. And she pretended to know karate and was like, and they were like, whoa, that's not appealing at all.
You do what works, man. I mean, you know, I always try, and when I'm always in places where I know, like if I go downtown for an event, like a concert or things like that, I always try to put my mindset in the attacker's mode. If I was an attacker, how would I target people? Who would I target? And when would I target them? So that way, if I put my mindset in there, then I know what to avoid.
Right.
And to adjust my behaviors, because I'm not at my house. I'm not at my local grocery store. I'm in a different environment, and you have to adjust to those as well. So
it's another excellent point. And one of the, you know, rules of thumb is have a plan. What's your exit strategy? Manage the risk before it gets there, and then you will do what you need to do. You're like, oh, I planned this. You're out, right?
And the more that you do it, it almost becomes robotic. It'll just become second nature to you. So when you do get attacked or being put in a position, because it is scary, and your body just wants to go into shock and freeze up. But it almost gives you that mental training that you need as well, and
100%.
it gives you that confidence. So when you start with beginners, what's kind of like your strategy with the beginners? Like, is it very physical, or do you kind of start off more slow with the beginners? Because I know there's some people that are like, I don't know if I might break something.
Well, there is the spectrum. I have the people who are like, I'm just not strong enough. And I'm like, girl, you are more than strong enough. You can tell, absent any physical impairments, right? Like broken, I have people who come in who are like, oh, I broke my foot yesterday, or I'm on crutches. And I'm like, yeah, that's a weapon. Great. Well, I'll teach you how to use that if you need it. But for the baseline beginner, I just finished a boot camp yesterday. We have the awareness talk, and we really, 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 I try to not pound into their head, but talk about, you need ability, opportunity, and intent. Those are the ingredients for the recipe for an attack, right?
Okay.
And so I say, we're in here, we're in the green zone. There is no ability, there's no opportunity, there's no intent. So if you think about a stoplight, I'm in the green zone, feeling good, no, nothing, we're going to train, it's going to be great. The minute you walk out of here, or walk out, go to a concert or whatever it is, you're in the yellow zone, and then you're scanning for threats. Not in a fearful way, in a mindful and this is a different way to think about being mindful and being present. It's not, theoretical, and because things can come into your world without your choosing. So be present and mindful of the things approaching the perimeter, your personal bubble.
Yep.
And when you're scanning for threats, you have your tool ready, whatever your tool is. Your pepper spray, your stun gun, your cell phone, your flashlight, your water bottle, all those things are in the world of tools. You have it ready, because if God forbid the yellow zone starts to go into the red zone where you have to engage with a threat, you don't have time to get actual, I hear, oh, I'm going to get my this and use this. First of all, I love all the weapons. I train knives. Like, I love all the weapons. Use them, practice with them, feel good about them, know the risks, know when and how, know when they might malfunction, all the things, know what to do if you can't use it or if it doesn't work. So I love all the tools, but you better have your tool, your knife, your pepper spray, your gun, whatever. If it's in your purse, it ain't going to do you any good if you're rolling around on the ground, right? You got to have it ready, ready to deploy, ready to use. Then in that scanning for threats, if your intuition starts to go really off the chain, you need to go back to where you came from, get assistance, call the police, right? If you don't have a choice, if you have to go in that direction, then please, please, please have your tool ready and get some training, some physical training. So we start there. And then, we talk about the awareness, the breathing. Nobody talks about the breathing. So my first life, I sang opera. So I have a music degree. And so surprise. I teach breathing. And in a moment, if you're in the red zone, even in the yellow zone, that all the breath is very shallow. And imagine if you've been running 10 miles already, and then something happens. So being able to control your breathing in that moment, number one, people hold their breath. You just do, unless you train out of that. And we do that by with me hitting the pads, getting the breathing going, getting the proper belly breathing, so you can get oxygen to your brain, so you can make the right decisions in the moment. If you are passing out, if you're panicking, you're more likely to hit the freeze before you would have liked to. And by the way, everybody freezes. I hate it that, the male dominated, you're going to freeze. I'm like, well, duh. What's happening to me? What do I do about it?
Scary.
Well, your brain there is a second when it's like, what? Oh, even I have that second, and we train physically, so you can just narrow that window of time. It's okay to have that beat to think about making, what do I do now? The reason why we train is to narrow that window. If you're so far behind the moment, then you're catching up. Then the breath is out of control. And what if you fall down? Then
Yeah.
You're kind of playing catch up with your brain, like, oh my God, my strategy isn't going to work because I've already gotten over here, and I thought that I would be able to stop something here. No shame. I train holistic from soup to nuts, like target area, striking surfaces. What can I use? How to get off the ground, how to fall, so you don't hit your head, so you don't get your face smashed, get knocked out, any of those things. So yeah, back to the class, we walk through all of that and then focus on the defense piece. We're like, now that you know all of these things, the breathing, we do some breathing exercises. I also teach them how to use their voice.
Good.
I was a negotiator for a long time. And if you don't know how to set a boundary with your body, with your voice, that includes yourself. This is where I say no. I draw the line here. It makes things very difficult. I have women who cannot say no. As a matter of fact, they apologize to an attacker that I bring. I'm so sorry. I'm like, what? What are you saying you're sorry? To me, to him, to you, it's a fascinating phenomenon. And so I'm like, no empathy. The empathy, I know everyone, good leaders have empathy, compassion. Yes. This is the one place in the world where empathy, shut it off, put it away. Bring the crazy, right? Bring out your crazy lady. Bring it out. Bring her out. Bring her to the party. She's going to help you. No empathy, because that helps in the freeze. And the thing that no one talks about, fawn. Fawn is something that women do.
Okay.
Almost exclusively. I don't have stats, but the pleasers, we're taught to be pleasers. We're taught to be nice. We're taught to put others first, especially if you're a mom. You will do anything to make it stop. Compliant. I will do anything to make it stop. And that includes the possum scenario where you just play dead. Because primitively, predators don't want something that's already dead, right? They want the fight. And so that's a fascinating thing for me to observe now, and to unpeel that onion a little bit more and understand how important the boundary setting piece and the communication piece is. I teach women not to say help, because it's like even if you do need help, don't say it, because it weakens, it highlights the vulnerability that you might be experiencing. Say no, stop, go away, don't touch me, fuck off, whatever.
I don't. Well, they taught us to say fire or yell at fire when we were kids, because everybody will run to a fire.
Yes, and especially now when the world is on fire, California, in my part of the world, everying's on fire.
Everyone's like, oh, there's a fire. Oh, great. All right, I'll get the bucket. But
no, it's good though. People like to watch a train wreck.
They do. No. That's what they always say. Like if you're getting attacked or raped, don't yell rape, don't yell help, but yell fire as loud as you can, because people will come. Because, like you said, they want to watch a train wreck. But
it also helps you breathe.
Yes.
If you're speaking, you're breathing.
Right. And it is very important to keep your body at a nice slow pace of breathing, just a very calm, because it's going to keep you calm, and it's also going to make your brain function properly, because that's why a lot of people pass out when they have panic attacks and anxiety attacks, is because their brain's not getting enough oxygen because they're hyperventilating.
Right.
And you don't want to be in that position either if you're being attacked in the moment. So you need to be sharp.
Right.
Okay.
So then, class. Then we move to the physical stuff and we start hitting, because everybody likes to hit stuff, right?
Yes.
Everybody loves to hit pads. And so then, I teach striking surfaces, target areas, and everybody gets laugh. You start to laugh. It should be fun and empowering in class. It shouldn't be scary, right? And then after you learn how to gouge an eye, and, palm heels can also be an eye strike, same as a jab, kind of relate it to maybe the sport they play so they can pick it up quickly. And then I want them to walk out with skills right then that they can use. And so, it's fantastic. And that the life of a beginner is really the same as the life of even an intermediate student, because practice makes permanent.
Perfect. I know you gotta just practice, people. Try, this is important, and I think my listeners would really love to look into this, because I have a lot of women that, even though you said you have a lot of men that follow you, but I have a lot of women that would be very interested in this. And do you have a website or anything that people can visit?
100%. Battlewoman.com. www.battlewoman.com.
And I'll make sure I'll have all your links in today's description as well. But we got to take a quick break. But when we come back, we do want to talk. I want to talk about a couple cases where not having the awareness and the skills can turn deadly. So we'll take a quick break and we'll come right back.
It's the holiday season, a time of giving, receiving, and maybe even answering life's most mysterious questions. What better way to bring joy and clarity to yourself or a loved one than with Love and Lotus Tarot readings by Winnie Schrader. This December, give the gift of insight, empowerment, and a little holiday magic. Because when you buy one tarot reading, you get one free. That's right, buy one, get one free all month long. Whether you're curious about the past, seeking answers in the present, or wondering what's in store for the future, Winnie's loving, empathetic, and accurate tarot readings are the perfect way to connect with what matters most. Choose a cozy phone reading or a face-to-face video session. Perfect for this festive time of year. Visit www.paranormal60.com and click the Love and Lotus tab to learn more and book your readings. Again, that's www.paranormal60.com. Click the Love and Lotus tab. This December, the best gift is to give and receive with Love and Lotus Tarot readings by Winnie Schrader. Don't wait. Book your readings today and make this season truly magical.
Okay, we're back here with Rachel Mahloch, who is she's a woman expert in teaching women and men too. It's not just women, but how to protect yourselves in public safety, public awareness, and learning how to fend off an attacker, and the mental awareness that comes along with it. But there is a case in the news right now, the Lake and Riley case. She was a 22-year-old student in Georgia, and on February 22nd of this year, she was jogging and she was attacked by Jose Abera, who was a 26-year-old Venezuelan who was an illegal immigrant. So the trial came about, and he is sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But you said that you had a case where the guy's already out.
School teacher in Memphis.
Yeah.
He had when he attacked her, he had just been released from prison. He'd been in prison for quite a while, and it wasn't. I don't remember. It's been quite a while, but he was waiting for her, and grabbed her. It was a surprise attack, and it would have been very difficult for her, not impossible, but it would have been very difficult for her to fight him off the way that went out, because there was just nobody there. It was dark, all the things.
And the one key thing is that it's because she did the same thing every day, so he was obviously stalking her. So if you are a jogger, if you are somebody who likes to do things in public by yourself, like rollerblading, going on your bike, what are some things that women can do to help prevent like a stalker from following them all the time and learning their routines?
Yeah. Well, break your routine. And I understand deeply that, we're all really busy. And in that case, that was the only time, 4:30 in the morning or whatever was the only time that she had to do that. And so she did that regularly. And if you do something so very regularly, if, God forbid, the anti-lottery again, somebody who means to do bad things to women specifically sees you again and again, and it's very predictable, that just increases your chances of engaging with a threat. So I recommend to students, and if you have no training, what are the other ways you can go to work? Have a couple of different paths to go to work. Sometimes the shortest path is not the best path. Maybe take a more, scenic path, and have a plan for different days and different times, even 10 minutes, 15 minutes, change it up.
Right.
And if you absolutely cannot, and I understand that there are people that say, well, I just can't, then you go to plan B, which is have your tool, have a plan, identify the places on your route that look like they could be a place where someone could hide and wait for you, a vestibule, bushes, even a line of cars. I had a friend who was jogging, and she saw somebody sitting between the two cars, waiting to bummer. And she was like, I see, she confronted him. And again,
did she?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Hey, can I help you? And, I've had instances like that. Somebody following me while I'm walking my dog. I will step to the side, arms up, and I'll just look at them and wait for them to pass. I'm like, if you're going to do something, at least I'm going to see it coming. And I have a plan for you. Those are all options that women have. Like we have lots of options. It's just that maybe we haven't thought of them yet. And because it's a bit, draconian to think about, what would I do if, and identify a potential weakness that we might have. But I promise you, it's super empowering when you do, like, oh yeah. And the look you have on your face, your demeanor, the way you stand changes. Right. And if you're going to go jogging the same time every day, be like, yeah, I'm going to look at that spot every day, and I'm going to plan, how I'm going to plan yelling and screaming. And what are you going to target? If you grab me this way, if you came, all the things, and make it empowering. And in your mind, then you always win. You're always the winner in your own movie.
Right. And like when you're jogging and stuff, there's always tools that you're at your ready.
Right. So what do we have all the time?
We used to have our phone.
Have your
And
phone.
that's another thing I want to talk, because that's about this case too. Technology. That's how they found her.
Yes. And she had her phone. I watched the video of her. She had her phone in her hand.
Well, this Molly Tibbetts too. They actually monitored her Apple Watch and watched her heart rate go up when she was getting attacked.
They did the same thing with Laken. They know her time of death.
So that was, God, these are like the same exact case, just in two different states.
Well, but here's here's what we should note. There's no shame or blame, and no one deserves this treatment. No one. And this is truly, and I know, and I'm very careful to stay away from anything about that he was an illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
In my world, I don't care about that, because he was going to kill someone somewhere.
Regardless.
And for me right now, what my agenda is women's safety. And I don't want anyone to go through this anywhere in the world. And so, that's a different podcast, different conversation, and for me, what's the politicizing of it, and maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. It takes away from violence against women, which that's what needs the attention. Money took money for people to, this should be publicly funded.
Right.
This should be
public safety
and personal safety. It should be taught in schools. I'm actually developing virtual reality technology to do the awareness training.
So you can awesome.
Observe things and then go back and change it and make the right, even you can do the physical stuff that's super expensive, but with practice, did you see that? No, I didn't even see that. I'm hiking on a trail. I'm walking in a parking garage. I didn't even see the guy standing there on his phone. I didn't even see the feet that are under my car, or the guy sitting in his car next to mine. I didn't see that, right? But back to your keys. Put your keys away. I like Kubotan. You can actually get Kubotans anywhere. I 3D
I
print.
actually have one. I do.
Yeah.
I have a Kubotan along with pepper
And
spray.
Yep, and it has with keys. I don't teach women how to punch.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because unless you train bare knuckle boxing, you'll break your wrist. And so with a key, if our only option is to punch in that manner, they could break their wrist, and it kind of hurts a little bit with the grooves on the keys. So hammer fists are way better. Palm heels, but hammer fists. So you still make the fist, but you hit like rock, paper, scissors. You do that. That's your striking surface. And you have access to a lot more targets: temple, jaw, chin, bridge of the nose, philtrum, collarbone. And with a Kubotan, with the grooves, it's not going to shoot out the back of your hand.
It's more fitting.
And you can, because you have your rotator cuff, you can hit all these targets at from behind. Even if you grab me from behind, this is going in your groin area, and it's going to start tearing, right? And so then I can turn around and I can just keep stabbing and hitting. It's a blunt thing, and it does. This one has not super sharp, but if I hit it hard enough, trust me, this goes. All it has to do is like, it hurts, or right in the throat, right? Like that is awful. I have another one that so it's a Kubotan, and it comes out your. So
okay. So it's a little bit more comfortable for the hand.
Yeah, or it's different, and there are things coming out. So if you do, hit at a as like a hook punch type of, or a slap, it's still going to hit something. I don't like the birdie. I'm going to say that right now. Probably get sued. I think the birdie sucks. They're advertising. They prey on women's fears. The birdie will save your life. How in the world is the birdie going to save your life? It's like a car.
What's a birdie?
It's a real, makes a.
It's like that thing.
Loud, and they sell it for like $30, and I'm like, what's it going to do? Nothing.
It's going to be like, somebody shut that car off.
Yeah. Or if you're hiking, what's it going to do? Nothing. Nothing. And so I get mad about that. Your cell phone, pepper sprays is fine, but again, this guy, here's the misconception with, or let's talk the truth about pepper spray. It's great, but it has a very, in certain circumstances, if the perpetrator is pain tolerant or on drugs, it's not going to work. Pepper spray doesn't really work on me. You can aerosol it, and I'm like, whatever. So how scary is that, to throw the pepper spray and then they're like, and then you've escalated the situation, or you're there and you're like, oh my God, that was my plan, right? Now I don't know what to do. So pepper spray is great. Just know that you need to, if it doesn't work, quickly abandon ship. Same with a stun gun. Love them. They're fun to play with. I tase myself to see what it feels like. You need to know what it feels like, right? And you need to know how to use them. Again, even just like eye gouges and throat gouges, throat strikes, you need to know what your striking surface is. You need to know what your target area is. And you need to know that you can quickly hit that area. With pepper spray, if that's a moving target, you only have about 20 bursts in that thing if it works. And it's a moving target. If you're shooting at their head and you miss, so you want to shoot, if you have pepper spray, at their belly button and move up. That way, at least it gets on them, right? It has UV dye that can mark them, and it's going to at least aerosol.
It'll aerosol up into his face instead of around and over.
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, there are lots of weapons. Think about what you can use in nature, like rocks, sticks, anything that creates distance. A water bottle is fantastic because that thing ain't going to break. And you can hold on to it with the hook and like swing it like a kind of a bat. Everybody has a cell phone. And I noticed in the video when I watched portions of Lakin's trial that she had her cell phone in her left hand. It looked like her left hand. I'm going to have mine in my right hand, but that's your hammer fist, right? And just like the Kubaton, these things, that is so, it hurts so badly to hit yourself with it. And so, and I know she was scratching and clawing at him. Breaking the orbital bone, maybe. I mean, this was a violent, horrifying attack, and I'm assuming he got her by surprise. So she tried to call 911, and you can have that on your phone. Everybody, when they jogs or hikes, you have your phone with you. And so, you know, all these other things are great. And if you know how to use them, awesome. If you want to carry, you know, again, I like knives. I carry pointy, stabby things. But my Android, and I have an iPhone too, but my Android is pointy. And I'm like, oh, and I'm going to shove it in your throat. I'm going to beat you with it and break something. So if somebody is super intent on harming you, or they're on drugs, they're intolerant for some reason, they've been to prison, you know, he was involved in gangs, so I'm sure there was a lot of violence, so he was desensitized to violence. And so clearly the scratching and the, you know, the hitting or whatever she was able to do wasn't enough. And so those are the moments that I touch on in class. It's not a level 1 attacker. It's not the guy who's going to cut bait. He stalked around for a long time on those videos for 2 hours. He was looking outside someone else's door. And I watched those videos and I was like, and you know what else? There was a bus stop there. And it was an apartment building and there was a camera. He was on camera the whole time, pacing around. Like, imagine if you saw like a mountain lion, somebody would have called. Right. Dressed all in black. The bus came and went, people were, and he was still there. And, you know, maybe because I have experience with this, I'm like, it doesn't belong. He doesn't, a dude dressed all in black, covered up, skulking around. It doesn't
He's
fit.
not jogging. He's not like sitting on the bench reading a book. I mean, he's obviously looks like a lurker. And when you see something, say something, people. Because, for instance, this did not happen. And we have a result of murder.
He was definitely looking for someone. And he tried to get in this person's door, too, several times. The door was locked. He went around the back and was looking in the window. So that person should be whatever on this Thanksgiving. He finally went off into the woods and that's the intersection of where Lakin ended up. And she hit the anti-lottery. And my heart just
breaks,
dies for her and her family. And, you know, I think that this is yet another opportunity for us to learn from her unfortunate experience and build in lifestyle changes and skills and practice so that we can, you know, so that doesn't happen again.
Well, and that's the thing. Like I have this story here that I came across, and this even happened before Lakin, but you had Molly Tibbetts, who was in Brooklyn, Iowa. She came home for summer break. She was a college student, 20 years old at the University of Iowa. And she came home and she was a jogger. And one morning she got up to jog and she was never seen again. And they found how they actually found her and monitored things. And this is important, people. Technology, use it for the good. Use it for what it's meant for. There are apps out there. I have a Life 360 app where I can track all my kids' phones, so I know where they're at all times. They were also using her Apple Watch data to see exactly what her time of death was when they think she had the struggle. And what they did is they triangulated with the cell phone towers, and they eventually found her body in a cornfield. So, technology, use it. Let your family members sign up for some type of family app where that way we're all accountable for our family and our friends, and we can keep track. It's like the buddy system on steroids,
And
Um,
always let somebody know where you're going.
right.
So that if you don't come back when you're expected,
They at least have, they're not like, oh gosh, we have to look all over town. I mean, they would at least have it narrowed down to assist you, especially if it's not even being attacked. But if you get in an accident, if you fall down a ravine and hit rocks, I mean,
or have a heart attack or something,
sometimes nature could be more deadly than just a lurker wanting to mug you, because you get mountain lions all of a sudden attacking you while you're on your morning jog. It's not fun.
I ran into a mountain lion once and a bear, and I was like, and this is a testament, like running into this bear, I did exactly what you're not supposed to do. I was like, ah! I was like, lucky me.
No, you ran.
I ran 9 miles an hour. My Garmin says that is like superhuman. For me, I'm only 5 tall. I was like, please don't let me fall. Please don't let me fall. And it was just, there was I couldn't go anywhere else. It was high five the bear or turn around and go. Luckily the bear was not.
You're in a horror movie. You're like, I can't end this way.
I know. I'm like, this. Yeah, exactly. This is not my day.
I know. And then when I found out you sung opera, all I'm envisioning is you in the middle of a fight singing like it's a musical.
That's intimidating.
Oh, that would be so awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for coming on. I had a blast, and this is such good information, and I will make sure that all my listeners can get your links and everything, social links. It'll all be in today's description. But can you give us your website again? That way people, and I'll put it up on the screen so that way people can see it as well.
Excellent. It's www.battlewoman.com. Just like it sounds. Battle, BATTLEWOMAN.
Yeah, people go visit it. You have merch, and you said you sell some of the tools that you can have.
Yeah.
And those are nice tools because they're small and compact. So when you go jogging, obviously you don't want to carry all this stuff with you, but it's stuff small enough that if you're wearing leggings, and if you're like me, you have to have the leggings with the pockets in it, it'll fit right in that pocket, no problem. So
100%.
Thank you so much, Rachel. We'll definitely have to have you back. Maybe we can have a session where you can show us some moves and do a live thing. That would be awesome. And maybe we can have like a little mini class, a little taste of what Rachel can do for you. All right. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, it would be awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I hope to see you guys all next week. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Mysteries, Mayhem, and Merlot. And until our next case, my armchair detectives, stay safe, stay vigilant, and stay aware. I'll see you right here next week on Mysteries, Mayhem, and Merlot.